happens with emotional argument and why it's both a logical fallacy and a cognitive distortion. Facts are facts and feelings are feelings. Both have value and both are important, but they are not synonyms. For narcissists, however, feelings are facts. They are evidence. They are proof. And they are very powerful. They trump facts. They trump logic. They trump everything to a narcissist, which is why they tend to be the basis for most of this personality's conclusions and arguments. Intent does not matter. Facts do not matter. Reality does not matter. All that matters is how they feel. The largeness of the feelings acts as a type of moral license to behave however they want, because the fact of the negative feelings is considered more important than actual facts. You hurt or upset or offended me. You outraged me. And now whatever happens is not only not my fault or my responsibility, but is good and moral and just and fair. It works like this. You ask the narcissist for help with a simple task, or you expect something from them that is inherent to whatever role they're trying to claim that they are currently inhabiting. Parent, spouse, boss, friend. In most people's brains, a neutral input remains neutral. With narcissists, things are filtered through cognitive distortions, egocentricity, and defense mechanisms until what ultimately comes through to them might not even resemble what went in. Can you help with the laundry? This seemingly innocent request is filtered through cognitive distortions and is therefore understood and processed incorrectly. Cognitive distortions are thinking errors where the brain automatically defaults to biased, irrational thought patterns that distort a person's perception of reality and are not based on objective evidence. We already discussed one of these, a cognitive distortion called emotional reasoning, where a person believes that their feelings are proof of the true nature of things outside of themselves. I feel offended, therefore you are being offensive, and you intended to offend me. My feelings are proof of that. Other cognitive distortions include black and white thinking, overgeneralization, mind reading, fortune telling, personalization, global labeling, maximization, minimization, catastrophizing, and jumping to conclusions. It's important to note when discussing this subject that narcissists are not the only people who experience cognitive distortions. People often say things like, yeah, but narcissists aren't the only people who do that or have that or whatever XYZ. That's correct, they're not. There's almost nothing that only one type of person has or does or says or experiences. Things require context. That's why, for example, NPD and other cluster B personality disorders are diagnosed based on patterns of thinking and behavior rather than specific things someone does or says. Again, things require context. So in the context of pathologically narcissistic personalities, when you say something like, can you please help me with these chores, that very simple, innocent request gets filtered through these distorted lenses and ends up meaning something very different than you might have intended. The word autopsy means to see for oneself. To conduct an autopsy on the phenomenon of narcissistic outrage, let's run that request through some of these filters and get an idea of what narcissists might actually be hearing versus what you are actually saying. Number 1, all or nothing, black and white thinking. This is extreme binary or polarized thinking, no middle ground. Things are either all good or all bad, a total success or a complete failure. What it means. It means if something is not perfect, it's worthless. If something is not effusive praise, it's criticism. If something's not amazing, it's horrible, right? What they hear then from your request, this isn't really about the chores. You are not good enough. You are failing. You're bad. You're a failure. I dislike you. Number 2, overgeneralization. Making a single event or something that is true in one situation, one area, whatever, and turning it into something that applies to everything all the time. What it means. This one thing that they didn't do or they needed to be asked for becomes the narrative of the whole relationship or the whole situation or of them as a person. What they hear. I have to ask because you never do anything. You never contribute. You are lazy. There's nothing good about you, etc., etc. Number 3, mental filtering. Focusing only on one negative detail and ignoring all the other aspects of the situation to the point that it might not even register at all. The rest of the situation just doesn't register. Only that one negative thing stands out or is understood. Narcissists ignore the polite tone, the pleas, the fact that there were no acute issues going on before this, the fact that you just thanked them for doing something else, and anything else that would cause this request not to be interpreted completely negatively. So what they hear is, you're not doing enough. You're not helping me. You're not doing your fair share. I'm disappointed in you. I'm upset with you. You're failing. Number 4, disqualifying the positive. This is when positive aspects of the situation are noticed, but they are rejected or otherwise discounted. What it means is that any positive interactions regarding the situation or the relationship in general are viewed as inconsequential because of what is being said now, or worse, as a lie. What they hear is, I don't care that you did other chores or that we had a good time doing such and such of a thing. Nothing is ever good enough for me. I am focusing on this to make you feel bad and to remind you that you will never be good enough or do anything right. Everything is bad. Number 5, jumping to conclusions. This is coming to conclusions without actual evidence, either by mind reading, which is assuming that they know what other people are thinking or what other people's motives are, or fortune telling, which is predicting how things are going to turn out as if it has already happened or it's an inevitable fact. What this means is they believe they know why you're asking them to help or what your motives are or what you're thinking about them, the situation. It's almost always going to be negative and reflective of their own feelings and their own thoughts or what they are focused on. What they hear is, I'm saying this because I want to start a fight, or I want to make you feel bad. I want to ruin your mood or your day or your life. Even if you do what I'm asking, it will not be good enough, and I'm going to ask you to do more and more and more. I don't want you to be happy or give you any credit because I don't like you. Number 6, catastrophizing. This is assuming the worst possible outcome is going to happen, even when it's extremely unlikely. This can be done either by magnifying a current event or something that's happening right now, or by catastrophizing the future. What it means is they assume that the request isn't actually about chores or anything like that. They assume that it has a much bigger, more dangerous or threatening meaning, or that it's absolutely 100% going to lead to something horrible. What they hear is, this is just a cover for what I'm really saying or what I really mean, which is that there's some kind of terrible conclusion or motive here that's going to fall on you like a ton of bricks because you are bad, you are a failure, you're all the terrible things. Number 7, emotional reasoning.
You ain't shit.
This is assuming internal feelings or emotions prove something about external objects or realities. In other words, believing that feeling a certain way means that that must be true. So what this means is they assume that their feelings prove reality. They feel attacked, therefore you're attacking them. They feel shamed, therefore you are shaming them. They feel guilty, therefore you're making them feel guilty. What they hear then is, you should feel these ways, and I'm going to make sure that you do. I'm trying to control you. I'm trying to control how you feel by saying these things. Number 8, rigid rules and should thinking. This is turning preferences, suggestions, flexible dynamics, and stuff like that into rules, rigid rules for how one is supposed to act or to be.
This one is called Beats by Biz. We're going to use one beat.